So, slaves, be obedient to your human masters with fear and trembling in sincerity as heart to Christ. So, we're going to take a look at this. And it's so unfortunate that most of our logical thinking turns off the moment we see the word slave. Many of us have never read the entire book of Ephesians or the entire epistle of Ephesians to truly try to understand exactly what this passage is talking about, or even read the entire chapter. So everything that we do has to deal with context. Okay. So let's look first at the book of Ephesians. The first three.
Trust me, you do not want to hear his breakdown. I'm going to the King James Version, Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 5. Servants. So it says servants here. It doesn't say slaves. I'll get to that in a moment. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling in singleness of your heart as unto Christ. Verse 6, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, with good will, doing service as to the Lord and not to men. Verse 8, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or whether he be free. Verse 9, and ye masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing, threatening. So wait, it said, and ye masters. Understand this. Follow me now. Ye masters, knowing that your master also is in heaven, neither is there respect of persons with him. So what is the context here? So like I tried to tell the brother, this is talking about Israelites being servants to other Israelites. And you can't even be a freaking slave to a fellow Israelite. Only a servant. This is the corrupt mindset of the colonizers that has been put upon our people. Let me help you. 1 Timothy chapter 6. Let me start at 1. It says, let as many servants as are under the yoke. That means you're serving somebody. We'll get to that. Count their own masters worthy of all honor. Why would you count your slave master worthy of all honor? That's not what this is talking about. That the name of God and his doctrine be not blasphemed. And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them, because they are brethren. Who is the brethren? It's Israel. Let me keep going. Because they are brethren, but rather do them service, because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. Were the slave masters partakers with the slaves when we got brought over here? No. No, the King James says servants. The NIV and other ones say slaves. But this is talking about Israelites having Israelite servants. It says brethren. Now, let me go to Leviticus. Well, before I go to Leviticus 25, let me go to Exodus 21. So in our commandments, we have the Most High thought of every circumstance possible and gave us laws on how to operate in those different circumstances. This is Exodus chapter 21 and verse 2. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. So our people, we could, let's say, I stole something from you and I can't pay it back. Now I have to serve you for a period of time. And then when that period of time is over, I can go free. Now, Exodus 20. Let me back up to Exodus chapter 20 and verse. I'm going to start at 8 so y'all can understand what's being said. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant. So your Israelite man and woman servant are not supposed to work on the Sabbath day either. Showing you we had those of us that had wealth could purchase for a time our own people. Not as bond slaves, but as servants. Not slaves, servants. Nor thy stranger that is within thy gate. So that stranger, that's someone of another nation. Understand now? So you had the stranger that wasn't a part of Israel. Even they couldn't work on the Sabbath either. But the point is that your manservant and maidservant of your own people, your brethren. Now, when you think back to the verses we read in Ephesians and Timothy, it makes sense. These are your brethren. And in fact, those that believe. Now, Leviticus 25. I love this. We use this all the time. Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee wax poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant. He can't serve as a slave. Why did they put the word slave in these Bibles? It comes from your colonial masters. Verse 40. But as an hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. Verse 41. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, unto his own possession of his fathers shall he return. Verse 42. For they are my servants which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear the Lord thy God. So we could not make slaves of one another. The ignorance of the Christian community. The ignorance, supreme ignorance, not knowing the commandments of God. That's where you err at. Verse 43. Well, I'll just read it again. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy God. Verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondsmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. That's slaves. We could not make each other slaves. Back to Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 6. Verse 5. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart as unto Christ. So whatever your situation is, whether you needed help, whatever it is, now you are a servant to your brother, your fellow Israelite, because that's what this is talking about. You're a servant to him, but do it with singleness of mind as though you're pleasing Christ. Now, verse 9. And ye masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven. So Christ only came for the children of Israel. So we both have the same master. except somebody is indentured. Basically is what it's going into. Somebody is indentured. They're a servant of another Israelite for a time. Someone who has wealth. This is not freaking slaves. Be obedient to your colonial masters. And then this dude trying to make an excuse for it. His breakdown was terrible. He don't know what he's talking about. All right, there you have it. No, before I go, one more again. 1 Timothy 6. And verse 2. No, I'm going to do 1 and 2. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of God and his doctrine be not blasphemed. Did the colonial slave masters have honor? Are you kidding me? Let me go before I get too pissed off. Verse 2. And they that have believing masters. Believing masters. Israelite masters that believe. Because all did not believe. Israel always had a problem with faith. And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them, because they are brethren. Brethren. Of your brethren shall ye not rule with rigor. Understand? Because they are brethren, but rather do them service because they are faithful and beloved. There's only one people beloved of God. It's the children of Israel when they repent. Partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. With that, I'm your brother Jacob. Shalom.